Welcome back! Are you ready to start adding some color to this dreary background? Everything dried down real nice. We still have some of these darker spots where we filled in with the white acrylic pen, but don't worry, we'll be covering those up. If this is the first time you're joining me with this color page, it is a free downloadable PDF from my website, copingcreatively.net, and there is also a color chart for the colors I'll be using. For the background, we use Tim Holtz Distressed Oxide. We are using Tombow dual brush markers. We are using Derwent ProColor pencils, and I have another surprise coming up that we'll be using on this page to make it just really stand out and look very festive. If you haven't met these guys, these are the Llamas brothers. This is Sid, this is Harry, this is George, and they like to party. We're gonna start with Sid, and he is a blondie. Then we're gonna move over to Harry. He is dark and handsome. Then we've got George, our fun-loving brunette. If you want to do the full length color along with me, you can go over to Coping Creatively on Patreon, sign up, and you can do the full length color along. Everything I mentioned so far is listed in the description box below. I also have links to all the products I'm using in the description box. It's usually Amazon, but if it's specialty items, I will have a separate link to that. Let's get going with Sid. Since he's a blondie, for the Tombow markers, we will be using light sand. For his hat, we are using pale yellow and Prussian blue. And around him to fill in the background, we will be using light gray. And once again, the color chart is on my website, copingcreatively.net. Head on over there and get your free coloring page and your color chart. Let me zoom you in and we'll get going. Now, if you look at the picture of Sid, he's got a lighter face and a darker body and darker hair. So what we're gonna do is do the sand for his body and his hair, and then light sand for his face. And don't worry about these little nooks and crannies. We'll fill those in with the pencils. I'm just gonna start filling this area in lightly, not too dark. This is the sand. I'm just going over everything. We'll get these little tiny bits with the pencil. Be careful in his hat, because the hat's gonna be a different color. And we might make his hair a little two-toned. And this doesn't matter if it's streaky, because we're gonna go over it with the pencil, and it'll add texture to his fur. And if you can't get real close up here, don't worry. Like I said, we'll use the pencil, fill in any areas we missed. And if you do happen to go into the hat or the hair, don't worry about it. We'll find a way to cover it up. And see, we're going right over that blob there between the marker and the pencil. It should cover most of it up, and if not, I've got a trick that we're going to do at the end to cover the rest of it up. I'm going to try to get this kind of even down here. It's not going to be perfect. Now his face, armrest. Face is going to be light sand. I don't want to add too many layers to make it the same color as his body. Now, since this hair is touching the dark and this hair is touching the light, we're going to kind of swap it up a little bit. We're going to go down in here light till we get up to his face. Same thing here. If some of his hair is going to be kind of missing because of the acrylic paint, just go right over it. Kind of follow it the best you can. And that's all his tassel on his hat. And if you go into these dark areas, don't worry about it. You just don't want to go into the background. So that's going to be really hard to get rid of. Now be careful not to get into his hair. And it's going to be hard to tell the difference here. I think that's pretty good. That looks like hat in there. That's going to be a little darker there. Don't worry about it being perfect. And it looks like we missed them right here. I'm going to move you down a little bit because we're done with this part till it dries up. We're going to do this here dark. So this is regular sand. Light in here from his face that I want to get. Okay. Now I just got to determine where I want to put the light in. It's going to have dark and maybe light back in here. So we'll go a few more strands with the regular sand. Okay, and the rest is going to be light sand. And that looks like his ear. And his ears are a little darker. I'm going to make his ears the dark sand. Back in with light sand. Looks like I missed some hair here. Can you kind of follow where the strands go? Now, I'm trying to figure out what this is and what that is. I'm thinking this is hair. That's hair. I was using dark sand. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. It'll all come out in the wash. I think I'm going to try to take some of this light sand and blend this out a little bit. But I think a lot of it has to dry out. Now this is all an experiment. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. I have faith that it's going to come out pretty good. Okay, let's get back to his hat. His hat's going to be yellow and blue. I'm trying to decide, do I want the tassel and this to be yellow or these to be yellow? Okay, I'm going to do his tassel blue and this yellow. Let's do the tassel first because I want the turn to get, I can't go this way. So just real light because this is going to deposit a lot of color. So if you go real heavy with it, and don't worry if you don't get it all. We're going over it with a pencil. Just be careful because you don't want to get blue into his hair. And this is a real task for my shaky hand. And you can go into the black, kind of cover that up. Some of these I'm going to have to turn you. Yeah, you want to use these like a paintbrush. Okay, I'm going to turn you close enough. We'll get the rest with a pencil. And I do want to fill in a lot of this black. Kind of make it more blue. Go ahead and fill these lines in with the pale yellow. And you can go over the black. It's not doing much, but I have another idea. Don't do these lines here. Horizontal lines, don't do the vertical. Okay, these little rainbow things, we're going to do light. So you can see the rainbows. Do those yellow. Boy, he's got one festive hat on. Rainbows and circles. See, I'm still trying to figure out what that is right there. This will be yellow against the blue. Now, when you get in here, be careful not to mix it with the blue or you're going to get green. That might be more of this here. See how it goes? It might be a circle from here. Okay, then this is going to be yellow too. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? I hate it when patterns don't match up. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, we may have to go over it with the blue. We'll see how to do this one blue. I'm going to turn it upside down so I can get at these. There's it. Those little circles are going to be so hard to get with the marker. I'm just going to... Oh, no. Oh, no. I went over. We'll have to figure something out for that. I'm going to swap you around this way. Let's see if we can cover that with the blue without it turning too green. Not too bad. Turn me around this way and get some more yellow in here. I know, I'm just rotating the heck out of you today. I want to be able to get in at these things. Like I said, with the markers and the pencils, they're going to be kind of different shading, so hopefully this will work out. Okay, let's see what we can do here. I am wondering if I can pull some of this up with the blender. Pulling some of it up, pull some more of that blue up. Boy, this blender's almost acting like an eraser, which is good. Also kind of eating the paper up. Oh, we gotta let that dry down a little bit. And let's go ahead and fill in some of the background here. Go real light and blend it so it blends in with the distressed oxide. Get rid of a lot of this white. I hope you can see me doing that. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of this white with the marker. Just make sure this is pretty well dried. Okay, I'm gonna flip you on your head. Get this area in here. Now I'm just going in here very light. I'm not pressing really hard. I'm just adding some of this gray around. Like I said, this is either going to be a hot mess or cool looking. I'm hoping for the cool looking. Flip you back around. And we're going to get this little middle area here. To get different angles, you're going to see different spots. So it's always good to rotate your coloring page. While we're doing this, we might as well keep on. Keep on, keeping on, as they say here in the South. Come back to his hat when it's dried down a little bit. Just keep this handy because if you see any white spots that we need to fill in them as you see them. See if this is dry enough. That's a little better. And I've got something we can do to fix that. Yellow, blue, yellow. I think I'm going to just go in here with the yellow, yellow, and then make this blue. See the yellow and the yellow touch there. But maybe there's some blue hiding in there. I'm going to say that to myself. Let's go in with the blue here. Just don't get into his hair. And then these I'm going to make blue. This I am going to make it part of the... I hate that when I can't figure what something is in a picture. I'll go this way with it. Boy, his mother was an excellent knitter, weaving all of these colors and patterns. Sit down for now. He's got to dry down. Okay, it's time to do Harry. He's pretty dark all over. I've got 3 grades. I've got the cool grays 3, 5, and 6, and they get lighter as the numbers go up. Well, actually, Cool Gray 5 is darker than Cool Gray 6. If you look at my swatch sheet at my website, copingcreatively.net, you can see that. Also, if you haven't seen me swatch out all 108 of these Tombow markers, I will put a link to that in the description box below. You can watch that and see all the different colors and my thoughts on their performance. They must be pretty good because I'm using them here and I want to learn more. But I think for him, this is going to be lighter than the rest of him. So I'm going to do this N75. I'm going to do this part of his face N60, and then this is really dark. I think I'm gonna do the inside, because if you notice, the inside of his ears are really dark. So I'm gonna do this N65, which is the darkest on the inside of his ears, and N75 goes right here in the middle. Ooh, he's got a little goatee going there. He's a hipster. N60 is for the rest of his body. And then his hair, I'm gonna do this light and then go over it with the pencil. I'm gonna go over this with the pencil, it'll darken them quite a bit. And I'm not gonna worry about those little hairs. He's missing some right here because of those circles that we got rid of. This is a little more purpley. I think it'll darken up nicely when we add the pencil. Side of his ears is this color, the N60. There's so many cool gray numbers. For this, it's easier to go by the color number instead of name. But I'm using all cool grays on him. You don't really want to mix your cools and your warms. They won't match up very well. I'm going to take the darkest one, which is Cool Gray 5, which is N65, and do the inside of his ears. Look how dark that is. I think I want to do his whole body that color. And since his hair doesn't touch any of this, like his hair touched the light, we can do his hair this color. N75 is next for his hair. The only place we have to be real precise is right in here. Of his hair in here. Yeah, I can't tell whose is whose. If you get a little on each other's hair, pencils will cover it up. I think that's more of his hair back in there. He's got some wild hair. That's why I named him Harry. It's almost like my hair. Especially down here at the beach, my hair gets really fuzzy and wild. Hoping I'm not getting my hand in the way here. Still learning all this video stuff. Where to put my hand, how to zoom in, zoom out. Well, it's only been a couple months, so I will get better. Promise. Or is that part of his hat? Is that his hat slouching though? No, his hat can't slouch over that far. Get as much as I can this way, and I want to flip you over. Fill in that circle. Get those last little bits upside down. This needs to be this light gray N95. Yeah, that's part of his hat. Wow. No, this is drying kind of. Let's see if it dries down. Now, we may have to go back over with the distressed oxide a little bit. And 60. Put a little bit more in here. Yeah, we gotta let this dry down really good, so we're gonna let it sit overnight before we start putting the pencils in, or they won't lay down right. Then we can see how this dried down. We'll get all this in here, let it dry overnight, and then we'll go ahead and put the pencil in. Yellow, because this looks like circles from his hat. Ooh, missed a lot here. Ooh, yeah, you can see it's coming off on my hand when I rest my hand. It would go, so that's gotta be his hair. Let's put some of that light sand in. It looks like we might need a little more yellow right in here. I'm gonna flip you on your head, or on his head, so we can get his top part up here and see if we missed anything this way. We need N75 for the top of his hair here. I'm gonna take the lightest gray, Cool Gray 1, and fill this in here for the background. Ooh, he's turning purple. I think when we add the black pencil to it, it'll look pretty cool. N75, let's go back in with some more to his hair and fill in some more spots. As you notice, as we're going along, I'm getting a little less precise. This is not gonna really matter. I'm trying to be OCD about stuff, which I need to stop doing. Let's go around. We gotta get his scarf. Okay, his scarf is gonna be persimmon. And this one kind of bleeds pretty good. Very careful. And what I'm gonna do, I think, is just color in these circles. Pick it in there a little bit, don't worry. Try not to get it on him. Brush tips are temperamental. Some stay nice and tight and some I like to spread out. And then with my shaky hand, I've got problems. I'm just gonna do like here, not go too far down. That's good enough for that. This tassel I want to be red too. So I'm just putting a little color in there. And you gotta be careful too. There, that's good enough. The string is usually rawhide. And I'm just gonna leave that black because I'm gonna color that in with something else. And rawhide, what's a good rawhide? I didn't put it on the color chart. What is a good rawhide color? How about saddle brown, which we're using on George. It's 977. Get that little bit with the pencil. And you didn't have to do these little things. You could just do it all with pencil. I'm just having fun with the markers. Okay, last up is George. And George is kind of light in the face here, and he's got some darker, and then his hair. I think I'm gonna do his hair saddle brown. His face is going to be tan. The rest of his body is gonna be burnt sienna. I think that'll work. Okay, we're gonna go in with the tan. Little face here. He's got a cool mullet. Business in the front, party in the back. Burnt sienna. I don't know. Saddle brown is lighter than the burnt sienna, and his hair is much darker. So let's do saddle brown for his body. Oh, and he's got his little eyes here. Just make his eyes turn black. He's got little ears here too, and his ears. Play it by ear. Literally. Oh, you can't see that. I'll have to pull that down before I color it in. Just don't go over his eyes here. I'm doing some of this. Oh, and I just went over his eye. That's okay. We're gonna do him black anyway. And let's do cool gray 5, which is 65. And get his eye. I'm gonna pull you down and I'll show you his ears. After adding some water, you can see kind of just the ink from the printer got discolored green, which is pretty cool because they're gonna be green anyway. And I'm gonna do dark ears like him, which is the N65, the dark gray. The burnt sienna, which is 947, is his hair. It's just a tad darker, which added with the pencil will make it really dark. And we can always add some black or some white. I'm just gonna start filling all this in. He's got lots of hair too. I'm gonna have to turn you on your side to do this. I tried. A little more precise as I get to the edges, but inside I'm not. Going over the black and filling everything in. I like that color for his hair. I'm glad I chose that instead of the lighter color. Okay, I'm gonna flip you over so I can get this side. Okay, he's all filled in, and I think I'm gonna take this tan and kind of go in here so it's a little lighter, and just fill in these areas so it's not as dark as the rest of the area. Trying to get this side with the tan. No, that's not the tan. I went in with the saddle brown. That's okay. And if some of this bleeds through, don't stress it. Don't stress it. Let me stress it for you. And the last thing is his little pom-poms on his head. And I'm going to flip you around so I can get at them easier. And these are going to be green. For this green, I am using Poly Green, which is 312, which is fitting. You know, this is a nice stiff brush. I can get it into areas pretty good. Without it mushing down and going everywhere. Okay, everybody's markered in, and we've got to let this dry down before we go in with the pencils. So I'm gonna let this sit overnight, and then we'll go in with the pencils on the next video. So thank you for joining me. Make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell. And thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again soon. And until then, hang in there and have some fun.